All right, Shalom, beloved family. We're here for another video. This is going to be about fertility awareness management and the moon. If you have not heard of fertility awareness management, this is a technique for um, monitoring or rather tracking your fertility cycle so you can either try and get pregnant or you can avoid getting pregnant. And this video is my hopes to help people who are maybe currently on some sort of birth control and want to get off, or maybe you're trying to get pregnant and you just can't figure out what the deal is. Maybe you have periods that are uh, out of the box and you can't figure out how to get them back in order. This is not any sort of medical or whatever advice. This is just something that I noticed with my own period. And I have been on this fertility awareness management method for, let me see, since my son was born, and he's like 19 months or so. So, so I will say that it has worked. I use a combination of things. One of the things I will discuss at the end of the video, and the other thing I don't discuss, I don't have any pictures for it, but I will discuss it a little bit. So first of all, again, fertility awareness management is called FAM, and so what they normally say is, okay, um, I didn't want to talk about that first. First let's talk about the fertility cycle, right? So, um, the your fertility cycle follows the basically the moon, right? It's very connected to the moon. But the thing is, it's not connected in the way that they say in general. Um, it's connected in a different way. So, let me just talk about this. So basically, like the times when you don't have to worry about getting pregnant are the part in red when you would be bleeding, and then obviously the part that's in gray, basically, right? And then you can pinpoint your ovulation because you only ovulate for one day, to be honest. And once you can get this cycle pegged down, you can really figure out what that day is. And the reason that is important because there's another secret everyone knows but you. And I just did a video about this related to business, but there's another one, and that secret is that if you want your children to be smarter and better and stronger and more successful, is that you want to get pregnant at a certain day at a certain time, so that when they're born, they're born under these certain conditions, and you have 100% control over that. 100%. And that's going to be another video for another day because I'm a little conflicted on the fact that on the accuracy of it, but at the same time, our people need to be aware of it. But I just haven't really figured out how to um, discuss that yet. But so anyway, that's going to have to come up later. Right now, let's talk about this. Um, so why did this come up for me? So anyway, so you see here, this is the cycle, right? Most people have seen something like this, right? So this is why this came up for me. My periods are like wildly like off track. And I've been tracking my periods since I had my son, and they were completely on track for extremely long time. And then all of a sudden they started taking super wild swings, like completely insane, all over the place, starting way too late, way, way, way too late. Um, like what in the world is, I know I'm not pregnant, have man, you have to do, there has to be some baking in order for there to be a bun, and I haven't been doing any baking. So what is going on here, son? So first of all, this I'm only showing you this. These are my last three cycles, and I'm showing you this to show you that literally everything lines up, right? So obviously it can't be this because the only thing that's different literally in each one of these charts is the sun. The sun is in a different sign because they're different months. But other than that, everything lines up almost exact. Almost exact. So first I was like, well, maybe it's Saturn because I mean Pluto because Pluto is in retrograde in two, but it's direct in the one in May. Or maybe it's Jupiter. Jupiter and Neptune are kind of like not the same. Or maybe it's my midheaven changes, or maybe it's the ascending changes, or maybe it whatever. I just didn't know what it was, right? So I went and did a little bit of research, and it's before I get to that, let's talk about this. It's not about the phase. These are all the different phases of the moon, right? It's not about the phase of the moon that it's in. It's the phase of the moon that it was in when you were born. This is why I continue to say that the most important thing you can have is the day and the time and the location that you were born. This is the most vital information you can have, right? So when I was born, um, as you can see here, the um the moon was a waxing crescent, which is it was at 51 degrees, right? And so I look back at this chart and I see that the moon is at 17 degrees and one 3 degrees in the other, and 11 degrees in the other. And then I realized this chart has nothing to do with the degrees that are in this particular page right here. Totally unconnected, not the same because um oh, I don't have it. I had another chart which discussed how um the degrees of the moon go up to 360. So when you look at your natal chart or the event chart that you make for to track your periods or whatever, um when you look at that particular chart, it the degrees do not the degrees are not for the moon rotating degrees is not the same as the degrees on your chart. So you can't connect it to your chart in that way. So this is the way that you have to connect it. As you can see on this page, you have the moon. The new moon is 0%, right? And the full moon is I think 100%. And the numbers go it goes to 360 or something like that. I don't gosh, I forgot that. Okay, I forgot that. But anyway, long story short, a waxing crescent moon, um so on the top is the waxing, and that's when the moon is going to full, and the waning is when the moon is coming from full, right? So the waxing is getting bigger. So of course I should be ovulating, or I should start bleeding. My first day of bleeding should be when we come into the waxing crescent moon. But like I said, that's not what's been happening. Well, there's another factor here, and I've been skipping over it, and now I'm going to bring it back. Guess who? Um, I have another female in my house, and it's a younger female, my daughter, my oldest daughter. And this is the moon position when she was born, which is a waning gibbous moon. So if we look back here, the third quarter is a waning gibbous moon. And basically, my natural cycle has been totally overtaken by her. And you may notice that happens, like, again, they always say, oh, when you're around different females and your periods change and this and that. And this is the reason because depending on what moon they were born under, that is what your body will fluctuate to be a part of the group. So, if you've been wondering why you can't really get a track of your periods being um on time on certain days. If you've been going from being around one female to a bunch of new ones, or you have a like a younger female who just started bleeding or whatever in your household, this is the reason why, because they just come and they mess you all up. Your bodies just try to go into sync with other females. And so you can use this information to get your cycle back on track. So let's go back to the beginning. So if you know that your first day when you're supposed to start bleeding is um, if you know you're supposed to start bleeding on the first day, whatever the first day is, right? There are things you can take that will um, encourage you to start bleeding, right? So if your period is off like a lot or little or whatever the case may be, you can slowly develop a plan for yourself. I'm not giving any medical advice, but you can slowly train your body to get back onto the proper cycle using natural things that are found in the environment. Of course, if you have a natural product, you want to transmute it, transmute the fire, give it the task of what you're trying to do. And if you know the angel over that, I haven't done this is like just something I wanted to get the information out. Once I get some more in-depth data, then I'll probably do a part two to this video. But I wanted to get the information out there for somebody who may be suffering or trying to figure something out or whatever the case may be, like me. I just wanted to figure out what the heck is going on. So, oh, one more thing about this. So we're talking about going from being 51 degrees, right, to 267 degrees. That's a huge jump. Like, that's enough to make you think 3, 4, 5 months in a row. Dang, that I wasn't baking. Like, how did I? What is going on here? Like, there's no buns. There's no third legs. There's no nothing. So what is happening here? So this is enough to just literally drive you nuts. So again, it's best if you now that you know this to use a software program to track your period, or you can use like these little circle things or whatever the case may be. I have something for that coming. I have to get the information all in line, but I do have something we'll be able to use to track stuff. But you want to, if you know that you're supposed to start bleeding on a particular day, you can take certain things that will encourage your body to begin that process. And so, what is one of those things? This is the item that I use. And it's called Queen Anne's Lace, which is wild carrot. Okay, and I got mine from Etsy. I don't. This is not a product that I make, shockingly, or have a supplier for yet. But anybody who does make this, hit me up. We can maybe we can put it on the website so that people can get all their little stuff in one place. But so I'm just gonna read a little bit of this. I'm not gonna read all of this, but let me just start with the background. And another thing is I've never actually seen a research study that's like this, so I definitely know it's a private study because you would never be able to do this publicly, by the way. No college would ever sponsor this. Anyway, so it says during 2009 and 2010, we invited women between the ages of 18 and 50 to take part in a year-long research project to explore the reliability of the wild carrot seeds. Uh, I can't read that word. When used as a women's sole method of contraception, women were welcome to use dry seeds if they were preferred. Generally, women were asked to take the wild carrot tincture, 15 drops of flour, and 15 drops of seed every 8 hours, 3 times after each occasion of intercourse. The participating women women were asked to fill out a monthly menstrual wheel with a sample attached and to chart their ovulation when known, menstruation, times of intercourse, and times of taking wild carrot. There was space for notes, impressions, feedback, so on and so forth. We asked the women to note any time they use other method of contraception in addition to the wild carrot. We didn't count those instances in the study data below. All right, so let's look at their results. They had 30 participants. 5 women completed the entire year with no pregnancies, right? The average number of charts women participating in study was not 5, necessarily indicating how long they used the care, but indicating how many charts were received. Throughout the study, we recorded 731 occasions of intercourse. Of those, we counted 160 instances of intercourse during fertile phases. There were 9 pregnancies and 160 potentially fertile times of intercourse. That is 5.625% of pregnancies, which equals a 94.375 contraceptive success rate, meaning this wild carrot is successful 94.375% of the time, which is more than the pill. Okay. Um, let's see. All right. So, in conclusion, I'm just going to skip over the details because um, if you're interested in this, send me an email and I'll send it to you. Um, but I want to read the conclusion. Um, Our conclusion is that wild carrot is a wonderful method of contraception for some women, but not for everyone, and in some circumstances, but not all. It has a high success rate when used in a timely way with clear intention. Okay? We do not suggest relying on wild carrot for women who are conflicted about having a baby, taking hormonal medications, who are lactating, and don't have a regular cycle, or who are recently off the pill. It is contraindicated in those circumstances, meaning it has the opposite effect. In our opinion, it also contraindicated for any woman who experiences rapid changes in her menstrual cycle or breast tenderness when taking wild carrot, meaning if the if your body responds poorly to it, then it's not going to work for you, right? But there's other things, natural products that people can use. So again, uh here's in the third paragraph. We believe that wild carrot works well with the clear intentionality about fertility. Clear intentionality. So it can help you or it can hurt you. And it's really, up to what you, of course, intention it, how you program it. So, of course, these people, it was no black people in the study. They weren't programming. It's none of us. None of us have, maybe besides me, have even heard of this thing. So that is to say that it's a wide open opportunity for anybody to try it and see if it works for them, see how it comes along. Let me see. So on the next page, they just talk about how to use it and stuff like that. The tincture, um, 15 drops in water per dose, right? So you don't take it every day. You take it as a part of um, a plan, something that you're trying to do, or you're trying to prevent. And again, I probably will do a part two once I have some more data about some more of the specificities of how this process works. But I did want to get the information out there that yes, your cycle is connected to the moon. No, it is not connected to every full moon, every this moon. No, you need to go. And I just found my information on the moon phase on my date of birth. I think it was timeanddate.com or something like that. So find out what the moon phase was when you were born. And then from there, you can figure out how far off your cycle you are and how hard it would be to get back on it. Now, for me, it's going to be pretty difficult to get back on my cycle, but um, I have some ideas to try and get there because I don't I feel out of balance because when your period is tied to another person, and like young people, they don't take care of themselves. They're not tracking, this type of stuff. And my daughter's still pretty young, so not really young, but she's not in high school yet, so she's not really tracking this kind of stuff. And so like it's extremely difficult if the other people are regular, then it's a little bit easier. But when the other people are completely irregular, then that's a whole nother set of problems that you have to deal with. So, um, I am going to use this kind of method to try and get her cycle more consistent. When I know that it should be coming, I can give her the drops, and try to get, her body back on its normal track. But this information can be used in a lot of different ways, and so can the Queen Anne's lace. It can be used, like I said, if you're having trouble getting pregnant, you can activate the Queen Anne's lace. You can tell it, look, help me get pregnant, whatever, whatever, whatever. Take it at, the time right after you have intercourse, this and that, and then you can use it in that way too. So the fertility awareness management is just to be aware of the fertility so that you can use it to empower you in whatever it is you're trying to accomplish. And Levi says we do have a lot of power within us, and I think that this is just one thing. And like I said, there's way more information that everybody else knows but us. And especially in relation to picking personality traits of your kids, and when you should have babies and this and that based on the personality traits you want your kid to have. So, um, they even use this stuff to pick their hair color for their kids. Like, this is no joke. There's so much information out there. I don't think that anybody would believe me unless they saw it themselves. So, again, um, um, thank you. Of course, all praises and all glory go to the Most High, the King of Kings, the Lord of Lords. Um, and we are grateful for another day to have labored in the vineyard. To the earthly mother, the Holy Sophia, thank you for always being with us. To our elder, wiser brother, Yahweh Shai, thank you for being the perfect example of what we can become on this planet. And of course, thank you to all the angels who were here with us during this time. I tell the spirits you're invited to go in peace. My beloved viewers, you're invited to be at peace. And always remember, the Most High is your peace. Shalom, everyone.